Okay. Let's see how this is going to work here. Okay, let's see. What's up, DeLeon? We are live. So anyone who's going live with us, please request the liveness. Where's my group text? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's not it either. Here we go. All right, let's see. Got a row. Let's see who else. Sup, you golden?
Hey,
Hi.
what up?
How's it going?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me
Nice.
okay?
Oh, yeah. What's up,
Midnight
man?
and Lionheart, you guys request to be in the video so I can add you easily. What's up, Aspiration Billionaires? How's it going?
Good. Sorry. No, it's going great, man. I'm excited for our chat. And I don't know if you noticed anything in the background. Got some
Nice.
nice.
I love it. What's up?
Hey guys.
How's it going?
What's up?
How are you?
Nice to meet you in person or on video.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
Yeah, we'll have everyone to say their names because I don't know that I can do it justice, but want to introduce everybody. This is so exciting because, like, obviously Royce, we talk a lot. Lloyd and talk on the book club. I just finished this gem.
Oh,
hey,
nice.
And yeah, so I'm excited for all of us to be together. All right, so everybody
Awesome.
go around. Definitely introduce yourselves and your stories. We'll start with you, Royce.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Right.
So what's up, y'all? My name's Royce. I'm a filmmaker and comic book writer. I have 2 comic book series right now, Biopunks and Legend of Althea. And Legend of Althea is about a girl named Althea who discovers she has the ability to heal people, but it comes at a great cost to herself, where she realizes that she takes on both the pain and trauma of whoever she heals. So she kind of has to come to terms with that, figure things out, all while dealing with being in high school. And then my other comic book series, Biopunks, it's about 3 characters who all have different physical disabilities, and they go through this experimental procedure where they have this artificial spinal cord surgically installed on them. It's called the spinal core, and ultimately gives them all different special abilities. And so someone involved in that program discovers what this thing is doing and actually tries to track and hunt down all these different patients involved in this program to harness the power of the spinal cord for themselves to make themselves stronger. And that's Legend of Althea and Biopunks in a nutshell.
Wow.
Sounds really interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm like mind blown. I mean, I know the story, but it's still like when I hear it, I'm also excited because you're reviving it too. So,
thank you.
Lionheart series. You got to tell us how to say your name too.
So my name's Ajanu, and usually people butcher it like 5-7 times before they get it right. So no offense taken. Right. So it's my name's Ajanu. I'm the writer for Aslan series. The story is about so there's a world known as Margot, and in that world there's a being known as the Ujda, and he has a crown known as the Crown of Power, right? And now his time is coming to an end, and he's looking for pretty much the next person to come to take up the crown and rule the land. But there's disagreements between the humans and the magical creatures. Pretty much the humans are in fear that the magical creatures, once they get the crown, they would destroy everybody. They would destroy the humans. And the magical creatures feel like if the humans take the crown, they would pretty much destroy the trees, like ruin the land and everything. Right. So now, and then the Ujda pretty much created a challenge, and whoever passes it gets to take the crown. And the story is about a couple people that's going on a journey to find the crown.
Wow. That sounds really cool. I don't know if you also have seen the visuals
Yes.
for his story, but oh my god, for a Johnny story,
Uh-huh.
I was like, because I remember. Well, we'll talk about that. Midnight Comics.
Yes. Well, I'm Lloyd Jones, and
Natasha Jones.
and yeah, we both are founders and writers of Midnight Comics. We do have several stories out now, one of which you showed, Unbeloved. That was our first manga that we came out with. Currently 2 issues in with that, with the 3rd one coming. And then Tales from Midnight is on pre-order right now, which showcases 4 of our other characters, showcasing some of our black superheroes, that roster there. And that'll be officially on November 1st.
Yes, love
Awesome.
it. And for those of you that don't know, I'm Jason, and I'm the writer of Lost Children of Andromeda, most recent novel to come out, 2050Z, Time and Salvation. I see some folks I met at Comic-Con in here, at the different Comic-Cons. Gus and Austin are in here. Welcome. Yeah, so I'm excited to get into these stories. Everyone's stories. So who raise your hand if you have a Kickstarter going on right now?
Kind of.
Yes. So tell
yeah.
us about
There's
so
the
tell
full
us about
raise,
that,
the half
'cause
raise,
it's not
and the no
exactly-
raise.
Right.
Sorry, what was that?
No, it
There's
says,
the
tell
full
us about
raise,
that,
the
'cause it's
half
not-
raise, and the no raise. It went down.
you
Oh,
right,
yes.
yeah.
Right.
So tell us about the platform that you're using, because you're not doing a traditional Kickstarter. You're doing something a little bit different.
Right. Same concept, crowdfunding. But I'm using this site called Zoop, ZOOP. And the site is zoop.gg. And it's pretty much, same concept of a Kickstarter, Indiegogo, but the main focus is just solely comic books. And the 2 guys that run it, Jordan and Eric, are super awesome, and they also have background in the comic book industry, and kind of like what drew me to it, because I was thinking about doing a Kickstarter again, but I was just curious, like, what is there something for specifically for comics in this field? Because there are some crowdfunding sites, because like I said, my background's a filmmaker, and there are some crowdfunding sites specific for that. So I was just curious, and their site came up, and I reached out to them because it's a little different also, where not anyone can just sign up, create an account, and start a campaign. They actually, you communicate with them, and they actually help you run it, which was really cool. And there's like this personal aspect to it because it's so new and it's growing, and they help you put the campaign together. And the thing that like really got me was they also help fulfill the printing and distribution at the end. So it's not like where you raise the money, you fund it on like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and then you have to go off and find some printing service. They can actually provide that for you, which was really great. And so I just shot them an email just to see, if it could work. And I really love the services that they have to offer. And, they really help you on their end too, to kind of get the word out there. So I just launched my campaign on Thursday of last week. So I'm in my 5th day now. And what's awesome, we just reached just a little bit over 50% funded. So I'm really excited about that. Thank you. So, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you, yeah. I really appreciate it. So we're really excited. Still have a little ways to go. But yeah, I'm excited about, reaching the end and being able to get these comics out. And what I'm doing that's kind of untraditional too is like, I'm launching this as like my comic book company, Stone Harbor Comics, versus doing one individual comic. Like I said, I have 2. So I'm pretty much launching it as a comic book company, and then people can choose which one they want to back. Do they want to back Legend of Althea, Biopunks, or if you want to back both, you can get them both in like a bundle pack.
Yeah, one thing I really will say about it was really easy to select my choices.
Yes,
It was
yeah.
really easy. And it wasn't all this stuff. It was just like,
They really simplify the process. And even before I reached out to them, I actually went and backed a project and did the whole checkout thing. And yeah, I just really liked how it was simplified. And the approach is more like a traditional like pre-order, like if you're going to order something off of a website, versus like the reward system and the tiers. I mean, it works the exact same way. They just kind of like they played a little bit differently, which I also found interesting. But yeah, I mean, and so far it's going great. I also know that there are also some disadvantages going with a newer service, because like with Kickstarter, everybody already has most people at least have Kickstarter accounts already, their login information and things like that. So I kind of knew, also convincing people to like sign up to something new and something else. Like you're already going to get people like, oh, I got to create an account. Oh, get this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I knew going into that was going to be an issue going into it too, but I was like, I really believed in the services they were providing. So I was like, hey, let's just give it a shot. And it's working out so far.
I love it. Oh, snap, Ready Pooh's in the building. I haven't seen that man in a long time. Maybe you know him too.
Wait, you mean, is that Redmond?
Yeah, you know Redmond?
Yeah, you know Redmond?
Small world. Yeah, I know Redmond.
What are you doing here? That's why.
Yeah, I was surprised he was on my live because I was like, I know he doesn't follow me. I know he doesn't follow my book. He follows my personal. We follow each other.
Small world.
Small world. That's hilarious. Okay, Ajani. So, moving away from the technical because I just wanted Royce to be able to explain that. But tell us about your story. Like, so where did you all get these ideas from? Like, I'm curious, like for example, like where did this come from? Where did Biopucks come from? Where did the Legend of Aslan come from? We'll start with you, Ajani.
Yeah, so with me, it's like I guess it started like ever since I was like a little kid. I used to always like play by myself and make up stories, right? And Legend of Aslan kind of came when I was like driving home one day, and I just usually put on some epic music and I'll think about something, and I was like, okay, like what if there was a battle between humans and like a magical creature that could actually wipe out humanity, right? Like how, like pretty much how would that play out? And that's how I started it.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Okay. For us, with the Unbeloved, the one that showed just now, I really like history and religion. And so what we went with in there, we pulled heavy from the Shinto religion. We usually see a lot of these characters kind of demoted to eye techniques or super attacks and stuff like that. But what we wanted to go with, or weapons, right? So what we wanted to go with that story in particular was actually give these deities a form and a purpose within the greater universe there, and see how they would handle certain scenarios. So that chapter 0 there, yeah.
Actually,
that chapter 0 there is laying the groundwork for what basically what's going to be happening there in the universe for the Unbeloved.
I really love the way you all did the superpowers in this. The weapons with the superpowers in this.
Yeah.
Like, it's so, like, it's like reading a cartoon. And I know, like, I don't read manga, so I don't know what it actually, if this is the style, obviously. So maybe I'm just not used to it. But it was really cool because he said the words, he's like, sword, and then all of a sudden the next frame is like, and it's got the, like, precise, like, wind slices that you see in, like Avatar, The Last Airbender, or like any of those types of things. I was like, oh, this is so cool. This is so cool. So yeah,
I gotta read it.
Yeah,
you gotta read it. It's so good. I love that.
You got me excited.
We met in Atlanta at AtlantaCon, so that's where I bought the book. But yeah, it's so cool, and I was like tragic, and I was like, why?
Oh yeah, oh
yeah. So it's really, 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 really good. And it doesn't have a ton of words. It's very, very visual. Yeah. And you just get it in the simplicity of like what they're saying. You like get the gravity of what's happening. So yeah, very cool. Very cool. So yeah, Royce, curious about Biopunks and then Legend of Althea, like where those two things came from. I know we've talked about it before, but
yeah. So Biopunks came first. Came about like 2015. Well, at least like how it is now, but the idea, the concept of this, this technology that could potentially, alter somebody's state of being, kind of like played through my mind since I was a kid. Because when I was younger, my grandma suffered several strokes when I was younger, and my, just watching my mom being like a caregiver to her, and just kind of like seeing how like rough that was. In my head, I just was always like, man, I wish there was just something out there that could just like help her and like, you know, make her better. So that idea and concept kind of played in my mind, and it weaves itself in and out of like pretty much every story I write, I've come to realize. And so it kind of found its way into Biopunks, but with a little bit of a twist where it's like, what can also happen if you become so obsessed with wanting to, quote unquote, fix everything? And, you know, what may seem like something that's, you know, meant for good, like, oh, you know, if someone has, you know, say, you know, quote unquote, a disability, and all these, you know, we're already trying to come up with all this technology to fix and to cure, right? But it's just like, so Biopunks kind of plays on that twist of this device called the spinal cord providing that opportunity, but in doing so, it actually causes more harm than good, so to speak. So that's kind of like, but it all stemmed from just like that thought of like, man, like what if, you know, so to speak. And then with Legend of Althea, that actually just came with like me always liking healers, you know, in stories, and, you know, superheroes, even in video games. Like I was always the healer in MMOs. I would always love playing the healer. But I feel like they're always a supportive character, the supportive cast, the sidekick or whatever, kind of like the secondary character. And I just kind of was just like, you know, what if I created, you know, a character that could heal, but they were the main focus? Like, how could that work? And, you know, and even when I first presented the idea to some people, they were like, oh, I mean, that sounds cool, but I don't know how you could like keep that story going. Like, how long can a healer be interesting? And I was like, oh, okay, challenge accepted.
Right.
You know, and so yeah, that's kind of how Legend of Althea began.
That's awesome. That's really cool. So Lost Children of Andromeda began as Dragon Wars, which I still have the original book. So,
Oh,
yeah, this is I was talking dragon.
love it.
And Lisa, and then named Jeremy, now Alistair. So I was 9 when that. So similar to you, Azani, like, but the characters wouldn't leave my brain. So, and then they kept evolving, and then it's like, well, Lisa's got to have a father, and, you know, Alistair's they're gonna get together, and they're gonna have kids, and so it just, the world kept spiraling out until it was this like big thing that I needed to like reimagine completely as an adult. So that's kind of where 2050Z came from. Like 2050Z is actually the same book as this, except now they're looking for something specific that leads them later into this whole like dragon world thing that I had imagined before. So I want to hear about the characters. So let's start with okay, first question. Is your main character your favorite character in your story?
It depends on which story.
Right.
My favorite character.
It's a good question.
We have a lot of main characters,
Right.
so it depends on the story.
Right.
Okay. Well, your main protagonist, like, is your main protagonist, your primary protagonist, are they your favorite character?
So if we were to do Unbeloved,
with mine, I feel like I like every character for a different reason. So it's like I can't just pick one to be like the
Right.
favorite.
Well,
you know,
for one of our stories, the Gray, she's my favorite character for sure.
Okay.
She's super smart. She wants to be a hero. She ain't got no hands.
Okay.
And so,
but she's a genius.
But she's a genius, right? And so, to kind of briefly dive into it, she has these gauntlets on her hands, which are mini particle accelerators powered by miniature black holes. And so, based on how she calibrates it, she can knock somebody out in one hit. But if she ain't got no, you know, it's like 3 or 4 guys at the same time, you know, trying to, you know, hit her, you know, pipes or just try to fight her. She's not a martial artist and stuff like that, so she'll get flustered a little easier. But seeing that kind of development in that journey is
I love her.
Epic to me, I think.
Wait, so we gotta pause. I gotta give a big shout out to Zoe. Zoe C, my friend, just joined. She's writing a kid's book about mixed families, which I've never seen that before. So, you know, just want to shout her out, follow her, books by Zoe C. I know she's doing a
Nice.
Kickstarter
Oh,
soon
I
or
see. Yeah.
something. But yeah, so I thought it was really, she has this idea that, like, you know, kids don't get to see books about like having step parents and things like that, and like how can we support mixed families teaching their kids about having that conversation. Welcome. Okay, so all right, Bridge
All right.
X35 said something really important. Come on, pick one.
Pick one.
So
All right.
do it.
All right. So if I have to pick one, it would have to be Aslan, right? Because
Okay.
so I'm a foreigner. Like I came from like I'm Haitian. Like I came from another country and I migrated here, right? And it was tough. Like growing up here, coming from another, like it was like a culture shock. Like it was completely different from what I was used to, right? And Aslan is kind of like the same way. There's first. I don't want to give out too much detail, but for some reason, like people don't really like him. Like there's something different about him that people just don't like. So it's tough for him to like fit in. And what he wants is for everybody to love him, right? Like he's seeking love pretty much, right? And because of that, like he's trying to like do too much good for others, and like he doesn't do enough for himself,
Wow.
right? And yeah. So
Who feels that? I feel that deep.
Yeah.
I feel that really deep. That's very deep.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think for me, for Biopunks, I feel like Biopunks is probably easier for me to pick a character. Because I consider them three main characters: Naya, Caden, and Otto, who are like our main focus. But I would probably say my character Otto would be my favorite because I feel like that he has the most of me that I put into, and so his ability is he can teleport, but it's the way his works is it's all like emotion based. So he can only teleport to either places he can see like physically like in front of him, or places he has some type of emotional connection to. And so they kind of like the way he discovers it is like as a kid growing up, like his room was like always his safe place, his bedroom, because that's how it was for me. It was like my safe haven. If no matter what was going on in the world, I can always just kind of like I would just keep myself like locked up in my room, whether in my bed or whatever, watching TV or something. Where I always felt the most comfortable. And so for him, the way his kind of like power is discovered, developed, like after he has his procedure, is that I don't want to give too much away, but an event happens. And this like feeling stirs up in him where he's just like, I just want to go home. I just want to be home. And he finds himself, he teleports and he ends up in his bedroom. And that's kind of how that reveal of his power there. So for that, I would say that's my favorite character because I think I probably put the most of myself in that. But yeah, and then for Legend of Althea, this character, her name's Bria, and she's a podcaster, and she likes all like the nerd movies, pop culture, things like that. So I think on that end, that's where I kind of like threw. I think it's like the characters I throw myself more into, aside from like the main characters. Like if I have to pick one, I guess those two would have to be it. But I love all my children. So.
I love all of my children. All right. Tashi, Lloyd. Tashi, you didn't go yet.
So,
Let's see. I'm trying to pick a story and pick a favorite character out of that story. If I go with my baby, like my brainchild, which is Imani, my favorite character, unfortunately, is probably her best friend. She is actually the complete antithesis of me. She's bubbly, she's outgoing, she's a social butterfly. She talks to everybody talks to her. Like she's really out there, and she just seems like a really fun person.
You want to be her friend?
I would.
You want to be her friend? Yeah, I would. Okay, so I'm gonna answer the question, then I want to ask that question. Who would you be friends with? So, my favorite character. This is so hard. I don't know why I asked this question because it's hard for me to pick two.
Oh, you definitely have to pick one.
Yeah, you definitely.
My favorite character is shit. I, you, I think it's Alistair.
Is
Like,
it
did you know I was gonna say Alistair?
I knew you were gonna say that.
So Alistair's my favorite character because he literally is me, and I really identified with what you said, Ajani, which is he really wants to be accepted for being who he is and his power, and so he really does everything he can to kind of please who thinks he needs to get acceptance and validation from. And I think that because that's something that I've struggled with, I'm really like writing my way through the challenge of not seeking externally what I have inside. So because that's Alistair's journey, that to me feels the most aligned. And I'll also say that Lisa is a very close second because the level of armor that she has around herself that we get to see her work through. I mean, she's like, you either love her or hate her, just because of how she shows up on the page. But I'm not that polarizing, right? Like, I'm more like Alistair. You kind of like him. You're like, when's he going to figure it out? You know, like, people have been saying that about me. When are you going to use your potential? Literally, like, that's when are you going to use your potential? You know, when are you going to apply yourself? Like, whatever. It's like, I kind of want to, but, like, I'm kind of scared, or, like, it doesn't work out, so then I just stop, like, whatever it is. So, but Lisa's one of those, like, she shows up on the page, you love her or hate her, and I'm just not that kind of person. So I find her to be interesting too. So with that said, which of your characters would you want to be best friends with?
I would want to be best friends with a character known as Zion.
Okay.
Right? Zion is like, he's all about business, right? Like it's like he motivates others. Like so in the story, he's the son of like the king. So he's the prince, right? He's the prince, and it's his responsibility to keep all the humans safe, right? So with him, it's all about training, becoming the strongest possible, so he can go out and be the one to earn the crown of power, so he can bring it back home and keep all the humans safe, so they don't have to worry about like all the monsters coming out from the trees and stuff. So I would hang out with him because he would keep me motivated. You know, sometimes I don't feel motivated. I know he would definitely do it.
Amazing. It's a great answer.
Right.
Who's next?
Oh, well, there's a character in Soul, a guy that he's friends with by the name of Taharka, who's the president of this company called Pharaoh, which is an acronym for philanthropy, heritage, ancestry, research, and optimal health, right? And what he's doing is helping the Black community essentially with all of those things, figuring out who they are, helping them with housing, healthcare, all of that stuff, using his massive resources for that. And he likes tech, right? So he's actually that might be spoilers. Again, he's friends with Soul, helping him on his journey, if you would. So the stuff that he's able to delve into and help Soul with, but not only help people with, again, technology and neat little gadgets and stuff like that. And I don't want to say too much, but all the things that he kind of encompasses and wants to do is stuff that I want to do. So
Love it. Tashi, you want to go next?
I'll stick in my story and stick with the same person, Alana, which is Fatima's best friend. But if I chose from a different story, it'd be the Blue Morpho. I'd be friends with the Blue Morpho.
Okay.
We work out together.
Okay, what about you, Royce?
For Althea, I think I want to be best friends with Althea, because she's a character, like, you know, she's a ride or die. Like, she'll always have your best interests at heart. She'll, you know, do whatever she can to support you, which is kind of like what complements her, like, even getting these abilities. You know, she was a helper, you know, before she even got these powers, so it just kind of complements her personality a little bit more. And you know, I feel like we all can use, you know, more friends like that, you know, who are just like down to always support you, always have your back. So definitely her. far as Biopunks goes, I would say maybe that's a good question. Actually, now thinking about it, I was like, could I even hang out with any of these guys? I mean, they're all great characters. But I was like, oh, could I actually see myself hanging out with them? As far as that goes, I would say, because like obviously like Otto's more of me, but it's like, do I want to hang out with myself? I don't know. I don't know how. It might be cool for like a second, and then be like, okay, this is weird. So maybe I would say probably Caden, because with him he has a boxing background, mixed martial arts, and he's into fighting and things like that. And so I feel like we could kind of like bond over that probably.
That sounds good. Okay.
Can I say something about Althea real quick?
Mm-hmm.
I was actually looking into that earlier. I was looking at Althea, and I actually got drawn straight to Althea because I have a character in Admani. Fatima's mom's name is Althea. Because Althea is actually my aunt's name. So I was immediately drawn to that story, and I was like, I want to read this off rip, but I want to read it even more now.
It's dope. That's so awesome.
That's awesome. That's really awesome.
That's so cool.
Okay, so while we have people in here, let's do some shout outs. So we've got Roro Beckley. You can check out his Zoop starter. No, I'm kidding.
I know, right?
It's a crowdfunding campaign on a platform called Zoop. You can click the link in his bio to access that and pre-order Legend of Althea Volume 1, right?
Volume 1.
Yes! I was so excited about
yes,
that!
Five issues.
Yes!
Yeah, 5
you know
issues.
A volume
Legend
ho.
of Althea. Ain't nothing wrong. I mean, that was actually the biggest, like going through like the comic book convention circuit before I even did Althea my first run with Biopunks. Like that was like the one thing, the biggest feedback I got, because when I was trying to push individual issues, people come by and be like, cool, yeah, let me know when you got your volume and I'll be back. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
People really don't think we're gonna finish this shit.
They really don't.
I was like, oh, I'm writing 9 more books. And they're like, okay.
Mm-hmm. Good luck with that.
Wow. In the same series, by the way.
Nice.
And so Johnny's got Lionheart series, which I like and I want to talk about just like where you started, because I remember when you DM'd me. Mm-hmm. And just like the artwork, I was just like, whoa, this guy's like really fucking doing it. This is amazing. So Kickstarter live right now, already funded, right?
Yeah, already funded.
So we already know what's
congrats
happening.
on that.
Congrats.
Let's go hit the link in Lionheart series bio and get your copy of Legend of Aslan. And we've got Tales from Midnight that is currently on pre-order. Again, link in bio, Midnight X Comics. So definitely go check out that. I'm really excited for that because it's an amalgam. It's like
an anthology
that you're an anthology that you're releasing. Yes. Yeah, all the other ones. Okay, so what character would I be best friends with? I think Dorian. He's a side character, and he also can't talk. But he's incredibly loyal and very thoughtful and very loving, and he knows how to take care of people. And he's the only one, I think, in the story that is not like shrouded in ulterior motives. Mm-hmm. That doesn't have this like, there's that like demon of self-preservation that we have. So like Lisa or Florence are liable to choose themselves in possibly in a situation that involves them or another person in the face of like the apocalypse. But Dorian isn't like that. So I know I can trust him 100%.
Dope.
So that is why, and I can't be friends with myself, so I couldn't be out there.
It'd be weird, right?
It'd be weird. I don't think I'd want to hang out with me all the time. So So Johnny, tell us a little bit about your journey, because I know some of the other creators here haven't met you before. So I just remember when you reached out to me on Instagram DMs. I don't even remember when, and you had your handle name was different, and you were asking me questions, and yeah.
All right, so I started about maybe 3 years ago, and when I first did it, I did a novel. It was called Phoenix Journal Choices, and like what I found was that writing novels wasn't really like my thing. Like I wasn't really like I didn't feel like now when my artist sends me the artwork, like I enjoy seeing the artwork and then just writing for the artwork. You know what I mean? So, and then after that, I did some YouTube and like some YouTube videos, like you see what Black Sands is doing. That's who actually got me started into this. Like Black Sands, like when I saw them doing the YouTube, like I tried to do it, but I didn't have the following, so it didn't work out, right? And then when I started writing comic books, I started with an artist, and midway through doing the comic book, the artist quit because he said the details I was asking for were too much. So he quit like in the middle of like he did like 10 pages and then he just quit. And then after that, I found another artist, and then I hit you up, and we're here now.
Yeah. So when you messaged me originally, was it 2020? Was it in 2020?
No, it was this year. It was definitely 20. Yep, it was this year.
Okay. I remember we talked about before you were ready to launch the Kickstarter, we talked about your handle, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you change your handle or something like that?
Yeah, I think at first it was Fireheart, and then and then I changed it to Lionheart.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what you had me change was more like the bio. Like my bio was boring.
Oh.
Like, he told me it was boring, so I had to like change it around and make it more fun. Yeah.
Honest direct feedback. No, it was like I go to your page, I have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
and I had like one picture up at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So then, I mean, to launch it, to fund, how do you feel? You launched and funded your first Kickstarter successfully.
I feel really good. I just hope everybody don't just cancel last minute, because a couple of people have done that. Like I don't know why.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm happy about it. Like I set it up for 1,700 because I didn't know how it would go. But I'm so glad I got to where I'm at.
Yeah. This is a great question. What was I going to say? We fight those people that cancel their pledges. We fight them. So, and don't be that person that like goes and supports a creator and then cancels the pledge. Like, who does that to people?
Right.
Okay. Really?
I'm all excited.
It's soul crushing.
So it actually is soul crushing, and I'm guilty of this too. So I'm not going to pretend like I haven't done this before. But I use a very specific bank account for pledging Kickstarters. Yes, it has its own space, and sometimes it doesn't have money in it. So I have been the person that the pledge didn't. You see what I'm saying? Hold up. I've been the person that the pledge didn't go through, and I had to like go in and like update my card and like do all this stuff so that it comes through. So don't be that person either. Like make sure when the campaign is about to end, you get the reminders. Make sure you have the money in your account to support these people.
Yeah. So the way my bank account's set up, right? I was gonna support. I wanted to support, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
Look, you're struggling. Okay. I'm trying to support as many people as I can, and y'all love launching Kickstarters all at the same time. So we
I didn't know
that. Okay,
I didn't know so many people were gonna have theirs up.
What'd you say?
I feel like that happens though for whatever reason. It's like I feel like the creative energy just like combines, and it's like we got to launch right now, all together.
Yeah, because like any ad, CNS Comics, Odina.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Wingless.
Concrete.
They all just wrapped.
Yeah.
They all just wrapped. So I remember, we were talking to Wingless in the DMs about like different ideas and stuff like that. But yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, people will cancel, but I haven't seen it happen where they cancel so much they go under your amount.
Yep.
That you fundraise. We have a really great question from X. 35. How many times did you guys change your stories' titles? That's the best question. That's the best question.
No, more than you probably remember.
Okay, so one of our
Hard.
stories, it changed. There's a story called Dogma, that's next year. That didn't. That went through like 3 name changes.
But you've also
It's been an off and on story since high school.
Okay.
That I've been trying to kind of work on, and as that's kind of evolved and stuff like that, the name kind of changed, and now it's stuck. Now we're good now, but other than that, all the rest of the stories. Soul
was originally the Sunspot.
He was originally the Sunspot.
Okay.
But we were like, oh snap, Marvel has a character by the name of the Sunspot. Can't do that. So,
Yeah,
but that's it.
Those are the only 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Else.
I changed mine like 5 times. At first,
In the last year, or since you thought of it?
since I spoke to you, I changed it like 5 times. I had Fireheart. I had Lionheart. That's not even the name of it. I had Fallen Sun. I had a few other ones that I don't even remember. Like even Aslan, I kind of picked that like the last week, like before the Kickstarter. I was like, you know what? Just going with the main character's name is always good. You can't fail with that one.
Wow.
That's true.
So originally it was Lionheart series, but now it's actually the Legend of Aslan.
Yeah, because I found out there's another like comic book named Lionheart, so I couldn't use
So
that.
you got to change your handle, right?
Yeah. I didn't want to change it now, so people don't like forget, like don't find out who I am. Like
yeah.
So I was like, after the Kickstarter, I'm gonna change it.
Okay, that's cool. Royce, what about you?
So funny enough, I feel like these 2 stories are probably the first time out of any story that I've written where these were like the first titles that I came up with.
Okay.
But with Biopunks, it was kind of the opposite, where I came up with Biopunks, and some of the early feedback was like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah. So, are you set on that name?" And I was like, "Yes." Why? They're like, "Yeah, keep thinking." So, for the first, I think, year and a half of like writing the story, I was actually trying to think of a different title other than Biopunks, and kind of just came back around. And then some people who were advising me against it, they would eventually come back. They're like, hey, so I was telling somebody about your idea, and then I just said Biopunks. And I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. Kind of just like rolls off the tongue. And I was like, right? I can keep it, right? It's cool.
I can keep it. Can I keep it?
I have no idea what else to call this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then with Legend of Althea, that was just kind of like the title that came on, because the main character being Althea, and it was actually around the time that Legend of Korra just came back on. I think when it just dropped on Netflix and stuff, and like I always loved that name, so I was like, Legend of Althea. I was like, okay, that actually works for that too. Whatever, I'm rolling with it.
That's so cool. Okay, so I have a disease, and it's called I like naming things. So I have so many names of things. All right. So the series was originally called Dragon Wars. Now, keep in mind that I wrote that in 1994. Okay. So probably before there was a Dragon Wars series, because there is now. There's like a game or something. It exists. So I called it Dragon Wars up until I was in like 8th grade. And then I called it So Zazma's name was originally Kimura. I don't know where I got that name from, but it was like Kimura Lee something, Caster. But Kimura Lee Simmons, or was that her name? Kimura Lee something?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we can't name it the Kimura Lee Chronicles. She's gonna I can't have a name that. But that was like, what's the name? The Kimura Lee Chronicles. That would have been a very different story. So the Kimura Lee Chronicles, and then I called it the Cluster Chronicles when I did the Andromeda project. But I didn't feel it. So when I thought it was 2017 when I thought of Lost Children of Andromeda, and I was thinking of these like descendants of Andromeda. I've always been obsessed with that galaxy because it's the closest one to us. And I knew it was long, but I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, They're the children of Andromeda. That's just what they are.
It's great.
So that's how I came. That's how I came. But it started as Dragon Wars, and then like continued to evolve. Now the book titles, because we were talking about rewriting books, I've rewritten 2050Z like 50 times. So it was originally called Dragon Wars 1, and then I feel like I called it Gem Search was the name of the story in 2013 when I finished that manuscript. It was called Gem Search, and it was about finding gems that transported them to a dragon planet, by the way, but it wasn't about the apocalypse. And then I changed it into the Andromeda Project, was what it was published as in 2016. And then when I rewrote it, I actually let people vote on the name. So I had 2052 ends with Z. I gave a few choices. Time and Salvation was just the name. And people voted on these things. And then I compiled the name of the story from their votes. So for you, Bridge X35, it sounds like there's 4 avenues you can go to. 1, follow your intuition, just like sit with what comes to you. Use an existing framework that is simple and easy to adapt, like Legend of, and the character's name or the bigger ethos of the story. Change it based on whatever you're feeling at the time, and then pick one to stick with it, or just go with what first pops into your head, and kind of run with it. Did I get everything? Am I missing any options?
No, that's it.
Sounds good.
And have people vote. People that like this stuff, people like you can crowdsource what people will be drawn to. So that was what I did for me. I'm like, what's gonna make somebody pick up this book? Time and Salvation is like, what is that about?
People like feeling a part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, crowdsource feedback is really fun, if you can stomach it. So, but yeah, so okay, so
no, look at it.
Everybody, can you shout out? I would like everyone to shout out their stories again, and one reason why, like just the log line.
Ooh, you got it.
That one sentence. The log line. That one sentence that snatches you.
Snatches you in. Yeah. One of you guys can go first since I went first the first time.
Oh, right, Royce. That's so.
Yes.
I want to hear their log lines first. No, but you're like a log line master. You write films.
Okay.
No, I have my log line. I was just, if someone else wanted to go first,
okay.
Since I went first last time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can go first.
Okay.
All right, so mine's called Aslan the Awakening, and it's on Kickstarter. And the log line is a young woman's emerging powers could either be humanity's salvation or its doom.
I'm sold. I'm snatched. That's great.
The Unbeloved is two Shinto deities attempt to maintain order and structure in the shapeless chaos that is the world.
And since the Tales from Midnight is an anthology series, we're kind of just saying it's an anthology of 4 separate stories. Because otherwise, we got to go through each story. So that'd be a lot.
And first comic book series, Legend of Althea, is about a teenage girl named Althea who discovers she has the ability to heal people, but at a great cost to herself as she retains the pain and trauma of those she heals. And then Biopunks is about 3 people with different physical disabilities who undergo a special procedure meant to cure them, and it accidentally gives them special powers, and now an evil force is trying to hunt them down for the source of their power.
Ooh. Okay, mine is, I'm not good at it. Okay, mine is, with 215 days left until the apocalypse, Alistair Adams must master his potential and find the one thing that promises humanity's salvation.
That's so good. I already knew the long line.
You practiced.
I practiced. Yours was really good, Johnny. Yours was really good.
Every,
It was. I like
everybody's
that.
was
It
good.
was really good. Too.
Everybody's got me hooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Legend of Althea and Biopunks you can get through the link in your bio right now on
Yep.
Zoop,
Mm-hmm.
which is
On
a new
Zoop.
crowdfunding platform.
Yep, new crowdfunding platform like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, but solely focused on comic books.
Yes. So, y'all, next time you want to, crowdfund, definitely reach out to them. And
Absolutely.
it sounds like they will support you through
100%.
your process, which is amazing because Kickstarter just lets you just to the wind. Whatever you
Right.
got, you better figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then Aslan the Awakening, which I'm very excited about, is available on Lionheart series, link in bio. And Tales from Midnight, which I'm also really excited about because these are introducing new stories from Midnight Comics, is available for pre-order on their website.
Yep.
Midnightcomics.org.
Yep.
Midnightcomics.org. Okay.
Yes.
Midnightcomics.org. Any last words? We have some creators in here. All right, Joey Diggs got Althea.
Hey, thanks, Joey. I see you. Thanks for the support, man. I appreciate it.
Oh,
any last words for a creator? I mean, this is great. I mean, for someone like you, Johnny, to be on here, having gone from conceptualizing your own comic to now being funded and about to create yours. I would love for everyone to go around and just give like one piece of great advice to emerging creators in the space. And we can start with you, Rockstar, Johnny.
All right. So for new creators, I would say write your story, then write it again, then write like 20 more times, just so you're sure. Because one of the big problems I ran into was like I would write it, and I would have an artist start, and I would be like, no, like that's not how I want this to be. Like redo it, like, and then that cost me a lot of money. So my advice would just be to make sure like what you're writing is what you want to actually put out.
That's great. That's actually great advice.
That's great advice.
I think I'd say just don't be scared to get started. I think that was something personally, I know for me, I would make excuses for myself. So like, just do it. Have something to worry about if people like it or not. Just start and keep. Like you started something when you were, what you said, 9 years old, right? Like you started it and allowed it to evolve. So just don't be scared to start.
Absolutely. And I think my advice kind of like tags on to that. Getting started and then making sure you're prepared as possible. Do your research. Especially like in the comic book space, if this is what you want to do, like really research, okay, what does that actually look like? If you're trying to do comic book conventions and things like that, what does it actually take to get there, to actually get your stuff published, like we're all doing with our Kickstarters, crowdfunding. Really look at the avenues that are available to you to distribute, to create, and to even market, and just to get as much knowledge as possible from day one, so you're not out there just scrambling, trying to figure it out, as it comes. And I think we probably all in some way have ran into those issues that did cost us a lot of money. Things that we wish we would have known earlier. If we just kind of, at least for me too, like if I just would have taken some time, a little extra time researching, or just, finding the right people that could lead me in the right direction, would have definitely, like even just having like this conversation right now, if I was able to tap into a conversation like this when I first started, oh man, that would have helped me so much. So definitely take advantage of those resources to really get a full scope of what you're actually trying to accomplish.
Yeah. My DMs are open. I don't know about everybody else, but if you have questions,
definitely.
you can always,
DM's always open.
DM's always open. You can always ask us questions. Because that's essential. Tasha, did you have anything?
You know what? Everybody did all the technical stuff, so I'll say what I said earlier in book club. Let your imagination take you. Don't be afraid to take risks. Just let your imagination take you. Worry about the rest of it after you've got something.
I like that a lot.
Love it.
I think my advice is always to be I think my newer advice is like be flexible. Be flexible. Trust the journey that you're on. And yeah, I think those two are important because the trust your journey you're on leads into the keep going, right? Because you got to trust that like one foot in front of the other and the path is winding, but you'll figure it out. You're going to figure it out eventually. But I think the being flexible part is important because the names change. You know, I have a whole book out there with a whole nother name. So the names change, the story might change, the characters might change. You know, the artist might change in the middle of it. You know, people may, you know, something like biopunks might not take off the first time and then be revived later in a way, you know. So I think being flexible and trusting the path that we're on is an important component because it's the thing that has us keep going, you know, and then eventually coming back around to like the thing that maybe we thought wasn't going to work or whatever like that. So yeah, and then the flexibility will also help you do research and like look around yourself, reach out to people, so you can kind of get ahead of the stuff that like I wasted a lot of money publishing books that weren't quite the caliber of what I wanted to put out there. But I'll also say, last piece of that is that put your work out there even if it's not perfect. Yeah. Because I learned so much from having like actual community feedback, people telling me what they wanted, helped me create something that people would like. So I couldn't I don't suggest like holding it close.
I can't hear you.
Oh no!
Yeah, the sound went
we
out.
lost you.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. We can't hear you.
No.
You can't hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
But you couldn't hear me that whole time?
Just
No,
the
no,
last
no,
couple
no.
seconds there.
Just just a little bit.
No, we let you just do the whole spiel and couldn't even hear you.
Okay. that would have been epic. Yeah, so that's it. All right, well, thank you all for joining. This was amazing.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, no, this was amazing.
Yeah,
Enjoyed it.
anyone in the audience, definitely support all these creators. Follow them, pledge their Kickstarters. Make sure you have the money in your account when it's time for it to go out.
With that, I will say, you know, even if you don't have the money in your account, like you
borrow it.
Such another great way to help us as creators is to actually, you know, on our posts, you know, hit that like button, comment, tag people who you think would be interested in it as well, share it to your stories, and like help us get the word out there, because a lot of this, like, since we are indie creators, it's like, you know, it's word of mouth, you know, we're growing. So don't think like, oh, I don't have money, I can't help. No, you can help us so much just by helping spread the word too.
Yeah, sharing and stuff. And some people have digital copies of things.
You can also borrow money.
You can also borrow money, yes. And a lot of times it's like, you know, I think also because you're on this part too, it's like, what else do people give their money to that like isn't as important, I think, or as like valuable as seeing Black characters exist in this ecosystem. And so people are like, oh, I want more diversity, oh, I want more representation, blah blah blah. And then we've got like all these creators out here making stuff, and we're like, I don't want to pledge. So you know, we got
that's a whole other topic.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic. But yeah, I definitely felt that when I was at New York Comic Con. But we'll do a roundtable about just
I got words about that.
Community.
Yeah.
I got words. Yeah.
Hit me up when you're doing that one.
No, we definitely can talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you all for coming on. I really appreciate it. And I think everyone here got some valuable information and learned about some new cool stories and new awesome creators. So yeah, thanks everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
I'll see you guys. Yeah,
Oh.
my
All
pleasure.
right.
Have a good night.
Peace.
Night.
Night.